Hi guys, Caitlin here again. Like I said in my last video, I wanted to talk about Captain America, Civil War, and Marvel movies in general. Um, I am a big Captain America fan, and everyone I know knows that, like, I love Captain America. Like, Chris Evans lives a couple towns over. Well, his family lives a couple towns over from me. But I can't get over how good Civil War is. Like, it's probably at least on par, if not better than Winter Soldier in my opinion. I love Bucky, I do, but I feel like um I feel like he was underutilized in his own movie. Like, it was Captain America Winter Soldier. You would assume that Winter Soldier would be in most of it, but he was not. Um, I mean, it was a lot of Captain America, which made sense for a Captain America movie. But when you put Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier, you expect to have more Winter Soldier than maybe half an hour worth of screen time. Whatever. I've gotten over that. It was a good movie, but I just don't know if I think they should have used the actual Winter Soldier a little more. But in Civil War, and right now I'm gonna tell you, I will be talking spoilers. Uh, I don't want to, but in talking about this, I will most likely be spoiling things. So if you have not seen Civil War, I would probably assume that you wouldn't be watching this because I'll put spoilers in the title of this. So you have been warned. Don't yell at me if you're watching this and you haven't seen Civil War. Like I said, I watched Civil War in theaters for a second time last night, and I feel like it's even better the second time because you're finally understanding why all these scenes are put together. Like, there's a scene where Bucky, or the Winter Soldier, actually is told to get these things, and you end up realizing that it's actually the super soldier serum, from this car, or these people who are driving on this road, and Bucky ends up making the car crash, and lo and behold, you eventually, again, spoilers, very many spoilers in this, it ends up being Howard Stark and his wife. And it's a very touching moment. It's a very touchy subject because when we figure this out, Tony is trying to be on Cap's side. He's seeing that, okay, maybe it wasn't Bucky who killed people in the bombing. But when he watches that video of basically his parents being killed by Bucky, his emotions flare, and he can't control the fact that he basically wants Bucky dead for killing his mom. Sure, he didn't have that great of a relationship with Howard Stark, his dad. But the fact that his mom was killed by the Winter Soldier is a bit much for him. So he turns to Cap, and Cap is... I don't know when he found this out, but he found out, Steve found out that the Starks were killed for the serum, obviously, and he didn't know it was Bucky, but he knew that the Starks were killed for the serum, and that's why he I don't know. It's rough because I don't understand when he would figure that out. Why I don't understand how he would know. And Tony wouldn't. Like in the first Avengers movie, Tony literally hacked into SHIELD and their whole database, and he didn't find Hydra hiding in the database, and he didn't find out that the Winter Soldier killed his parents. Like, you would think that would be in some sort of mission log that Hydra had. Maybe it's they didn't put all their stuff on SHIELD database, but you would think that Stark would have found out that at least there were some Hydra agents in SHIELD, but he didn't. And in turn, he didn't know that his parents were basically killed by Hydra, and their lapdog, which they brainwashed from the 40s. I don't know. It seems a little strained, I guess, but Tony even said that he understood that Bucky was controlled by certain words. Like, he called him a Manchurian candidate, which is basically what he is. He's a brainwashed person who is basically controlled by, like, if someone says a series of words, and I think they have to be in German, but if they say this series of words, he's basically not Bucky anymore. He's just a lifeless zombie who serves whoever activated him, basically. But then when he found out that Bucky actually killed his parents, he flipped out. I mean, talk about emotionally charged actions. I mean, obviously Tony Stark is emotionally charged all the time, but, you know, I mean, if you understand what the guy's going through, like, Bucky even said that he remembers every single person that he was ordered to kill, basically. So he even recognized that it was Howard, and Howard recognized him, obviously, because he hasn't aged. He just grew his hair out. Basically, they recognized each other, and he couldn't stop himself from killing because he was told to leave no witnesses. And that's why he remembers. Like, I don't know. That's why I've been on Team Cap from the beginning. I mean, sure, some of the things that they were saying, like, sure, I feel like, to some extent, everyone with mutations or superpowers or enhanced abilities should be registered to some extent, kind of like in the original story of Civil War, but I don't think that they should be controlled by the government. if they do something bad, like if they end up blowing up a building on purpose, obviously you have to send someone in to capture that person, because normal like police units aren't going to like control them, you know? Like, I feel like it should almost be like the sex offender registry. Like, you should have to tell people that you're around, like, hi, I have this superpower. Like, if you go to like a rural like town, you should have to go door to door and be like, hi, this is my name, this is what I can do, I live here now, and I just wanted to let you know. Like, it's like something like that. I don't necessarily think that the government should be able to tell them what they can and can't do. I think they should just be who they are. And if that ends up being bad, then send in the good guys that maybe have some that want to work for the government and some that don't. Like, the Avengers, I don't feel like they should have to be with the government. But I think they should work alongside the government. I feel like the government might benefit from having maybe their own force of like superheroes, but I don't necessarily think that, like, the Avengers, sure, bad things happen, and I think most of it is Tony's fault. Judging by Age of Ultron, that whole thing in Sokovia wouldn't even have happened if Tony didn't want to create some sort of life. But then if he didn't do that, then Vision wouldn't happen. But I'm ranting a lot. But yeah. So, I mean, it's a really good movie. They balance out the seriousness with a little bit of comedy. Just, it feels natural, though, when they put the comedy in there. It doesn't feel like, all right, well, we have to put in a joke now because it's a superhero movie, so it can't be all serious. But it makes sense for the characters who are making the jokes to make the jokes. Like, Ant-Man comes in, and Spider-Man comes in, and they kind of fanboy over everyone, basically, because they're just fanboys. They're just happy to be there, you know? But it makes sense what side each person is on. Tony recruited Peter Parker to be on his side because he wants to basically fight for the little guy, you know, like, because he's a nerd who obviously gets beat up or got beat up at school. And when he got these powers, he was like, well, I can't do more than I did before because then people will know that I'm different. And I think that's a very I think it makes sense that he's on Tony's team. I can't really put into words why I feel that way, but it just makes sense to me. And then obviously Ant-Man, Pym passed down the suit to him I can't remember his name, oh my god, but he passed down the suit, and Hank Pym, he never wanted to be controlled by even S.H.I.E.L.D. And so those ideals got passed down with the suit, basically, and I think it works for Cap's side. Like, you don't want to be controlled by the government when, you know, he could very well be controlled by the government. Like, you need to go in there and reroute all their, you know, he's an ant man. He like can be this big. But all in all, it is a really good movie. And if you haven't seen it and you stuck through all these spoilers and still want to see it, you should definitely go. Because I do not even bring light to most of the things that happen in this movie. And I think that it should be experienced by you should experience it yourself, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to get my parents to watch all the movies, because I think the first one that they ended up not seeing was Thor 2, so we have a lot to go. I think Thor 2, and then they definitely need to see Ant-Man. They haven't seen Winter Soldier yet, or Avengers 2. So, I mean, they got a lot to go, but we'll get there. Right, well, I guess that's all I have for this little Marvel Captain America rant. I might actually talk about X-Men Apocalypse in another video today. So, look forward to that. Alright, and I will talk to you in the next video.